All right, now, trade 7-11, the deuce, and the nine. Hoover hey to the Hoover Collective, the Hoover Knights, the culture enthusiasts, and to the people. Hey, man, we're back. This is the third live stream, man, from Under the Groove. And like I said last week, and I'll say again tonight, it's a pleasure, man, to be able to do this, man, to come and chop it up with the people, man. So come on in the comments, man. Let's get this thing grooving, man, like we do. I have a few topics I want to discuss. Uh, Nothing too serious, you know what I mean? But it's a conversation nonetheless. That's the main theme about this get out, man. It's a conversation. You know what I mean? You can take it however you want it, man. And if it's not for you, don't tune in, man. All right. So listen. Like I said, last week was good, man. I enjoyed it, man. I enjoyed the fact that people came into the comments, man, and we had a good time, man. We discussed a few things, man, that I thought were relevant, to not just the podcast, but to the community, not just the Hoover community, but the community as a whole. Tonight, I want to just say, right, straight out, the thing I wanted to do with the Ado Hoovers. The fact of the matter is this: those who claimed Ado Hoover back in the 80s, man, they won't be on the platform at this time. If it's some later date, they want to grace the podcast, you know what I'm saying, with their presence, man, they're more than welcome to come on in and let's discuss that, you know what I'm saying, because it's something they lived, you know what I mean? It's an experience that, is a part of them, so like I said, we're not going to minimize that in no form of fashion, man. It is what it is, man, especially with those individuals. They know their experiences and what they lived through. So, we're going to give them their, their candles and their medals. I don't like to say, we're going to give brothers flowers. It's just something I don't do. But like I said, I'll reiterate again tonight before I move on to the next subject, man, is that my statement was pure and simple, man. Ado Hoovers was not an official Hoover set. It's that simple. You know what I mean? And all you have to do is just go and, understand the history, man. Just understand the history. And I use that. My benchmark for that is this. If it's not in the numerological cadence, if it ain't from the faux tray to the one way, it wasn't official, homie. That's all I was saying. You know what I mean? That's not to say that they did not exist. All right. So that being said, man, and take with this, man, what I said is not a falsehood, nor was it an untruth. You know what I mean? One thing I'm not going to do, man, I'm not going to spread falsehoods or untruths. So, check your feelings, man. You know what I'm saying? Just get into what I'm saying, man. Research what I'm saying if you need to. Ask other, old heads, that was really a part of this shit, and ask them about it, if you don't want to take my word for it. So that said, man, again, much respect and love to those individuals. They know who they are, man. I love you guys, man. No love lost. It is what it is. I want to bring up also the Hoover Joe GoFundMe. Let's put it out there like this. Shop at underthegroove.com has t-shirts, man. We got anything. We got, t-shirts for men and women, in certain fits, the pullovers, the hoodies. We got the whole nine, man. I want to propose something to you. For every t-shirt that's purchased, I will donate a certain percentage per t-shirt to Joe's GoFundMe. Now, that being said, I want it to also be understood that for those who just want to go in and donate because they recognize, support his cause, by all means do so, man. Don't, just do so. That avenue is always going to be open, man, till we reach that goal in terms of what he needs, for it to be in that account to get done what he needs to get done. But the t-shirts, the shop, the merch, that's there for the people. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, I'll take a certain percentage from each t-shirt and I'll submit it or I'll contribute it to that cause for Hoover Joe. All right. That's it, man. And that's real short. I didn't want to be all day with that. Come on in the comments, man. I see you, 716. I see Hoover Snipe. 5'9" Hoovers, homie. That's what we do. Listen, man. Third, I was sitting up the other day, man. I was tripping off some shit, man. I was watching some brothers, and the behavior of these individuals, it kind of threw me aback, man. It made me think that, damn, man, we stuck. we stuck in some shit, man. And I was trying to understand, a different terminology for just being stuck. And I came up with, we're in a stage of arrested development. All right. Think about that, man. Just think about that. We're in a state of arrested development. And there's a lot that contributes to this mindset. And we're talking about the mindset. Don't get it twisted. I'm not talking about no feelings and nothing else. I'm talking about how the mind functions, how it works for each individual every day that they wake up, man. Actually, when they go to sleep, too. Yeah, that's a whole nother conversation, Freudian dreams and shit. But listen, we are in a state of arrested development. When we watch brothers on just in social media, I don't have to go into who they watching or whatever. There is a certain conduct and behavior, man, that speaks to, it's almost, a lot of this shit is infantile, homie. It's nothing grown up about it. It's no man shit attached to it, for real, for real. Dudes talk about the most frivolous shit, man. I mean, on these platforms, man, these sites, man, we need to be discussing things, man, of the nature. We're talking about our children, our brothers and sisters, you know what I'm saying? Ourselves, you know what I'm saying? To the point where we are trying to develop something, man, that's way better than what the hell we're going through now, man. And I'm saying the arrested development points to us not being on point in terms of how we deal with just ourselves, life in general, society, you know what I'm saying, how we carry ourselves, man. This shit is crazy, man. A lot of it just it don't make sense. And if ain't nobody willing to say it, man, I'll say it, man. We got issues that we need to be dealing with, and I'm telling y'all, man, they way beyond what street you from, or what set you from, what hood you from. All right. It's way beyond Joe Blow having more than you, or you being envious and jealous of what Joe Blow then went out and earned for himself or herself. James Blow, shit. We got to get off these trips, man, we be on, man, because I'm telling you, a lot of it is it's not just self-detrimental, because when you think about it, you wasted energy worried about what somebody else is doing and what they got. Instead of focusing your attention and your energy on getting your own get out legitimately, or however else you want to get it, but you want to get it and utilize it. And brothers, man, this shit is crazy, man. It's crazy. But look, let's have that discussion, man. Come on up in here, man, and let's talk about the arrested development in the community as a whole. I'm not just talking about Hoover, man. I'm not just talking about Crips or Bloods. I'm talking about us, Black people, especially in these inner cities, man. These rural towns and shit where, man, social media seem to guide us and dictate how we carry on as human beings. This shit is whack, man. It's whack. I'm a student more than I'm a teacher. All right, just so you know, King Q 901, I'm a student, man. I'm gonna be a student to the day I die, bro. You know what I mean? If I learn something and it's viable, you know what I'm saying, it's something that's supposed to be or needs to be passed forward, I'm gonna pass it forward, bro. If I get into this get down, man, and I give somebody some disinformation, some misinformation, some negative information, man, call me on it. Call me on it, man. But one thing I'm not going to do, in spite of everything I see that's going on, I'm not going to get negative. I'm not going to become reactionary. I'm not going to do it for the hits and for the likes and all that shit. But I do want to talk to my people, our people. We have to start having these discussions. We have to start communicating, man, to get to the point we need to be. This is 2025. Man, y'all need to look around, man, see what's going on in the world, man. We're creating culture for individuals, man, eating off our culture. They eating off us, man. We're not getting nothing from it. Why is that? Why is that? We got sense enough to create culture, fashions, dance, music, whatever the case may be, but we're not eating on it. Something's wrong there, bro. We got to start addressing that shit. So Neil said, I believe that the Ado Hoovers was given a choice to turn either 7-4 8 trade. Correct. That's absolutely correct, homie. And they know it like you know it, like I know it. That, that was the option. Hey man, it's one or the other, but it can't be that. Um, the edict had went down, or it was said that, and I don't mean no disrespect to nobody, but let me speak to it. Let me say it like it TI is. The edict wasn't gonna be no O's on Hoover. That's it. All right. And I'm not saying that to be messy or nothing else. No disrespect to no one. But that's what it was, bro. All right. So again, it was never an official Hoover set from 43rd to 112th. Never was in a numerological cadence ever. Seven folds took it upon itself to write 7-4/80 because that was, our culture, separate from the trades, the 5-9s, the 9s, but that's what we did. You know what I'm saying? We understood it, but it was never official. All right. So I'm gonna move on, man, from that. Yeah, facts. Facts, bro. Yeah, peace to the chat, man. I see you, bro. So yeah, John Wilson, man, Josh Wilson. I can tell your homie Kenny Ray. I take that you talking about my young brother. Rest in peace. Yeah, that was my bro, man. I raised him. Mom's birthday, but I raised him. Man. Shit, man. That guy, man. Him like a lot of cats. And the brothers probably can attest to this and understand where I'm coming from. Wish I could have saved him. I was doing time. I wish I could say my bro. Yeah, Snipe, man. Rest in peace, Snipe. One of my guys. I got photos of me and Snipe. We used to kick it on the streets together, man. Good dude, man. Good dude, crazy as a motherfucker. He was crazy. Snipe was crazy, man. Loved him, man. Love Snipe, man. Miss that brother too, man. A whole lot of them. Whole lot of them. Okay, Hoover Lurch. Come down. Hoover Lurch. What is that, man? Let me see what that say. What's up? What's up with you, boy? I see you. LL. Oh, that big love. Yeah, I see you, LL. What's happening, homeboy? Ain't seen you in a minute. How you living? You good? Good? How you treating that truck right? Getting drunk, wrecking up that truck, man. That's a nice truck, man. You know what I mean? Take care. I hope you're actually using it for something. I consider trucks to be practical. Way better than a car. You could use a truck for a whole lot of shit, man. That's why I got mine. And believe me, man, my family put that truck to use, man, more than I want them to. I'll be worried about my paint, dents and dings and shit, putting furniture. I'll be like, hey, man, hey, be careful. Hey, come on, homie, wait. I got a couple of dings and scratches on my shit. I'll be every time I wash my see that shit. I'm like, damn, that's when we was moving so and so. I told them to be careful. They fucked my shit up. But yeah, man, I see you, bro. Love you, miss you, man. One Nation, gaming since 99, 2000. One Nation under the groove, man. That's right. Yeah. Israel. He said we must return to the most high. Only leave out all middlemen, and we return to our greatness. I hear you, bro. I'm gonna tell you like this, homie. When we grew up in the church. We grew up in the church. We went to True Gospel Baptist Church on 78th and Hoover. And most of the homies did. Most 7-4s and some 8 trays went to True Gospel Baptist Church on 78th and Hoover. So I'm saying that to say I grew up in the church. I was in the choir, man. I was in the choir, and it got to the point where we would go to Sunday school and we'd go through the front, leave out the back, man. You know what I mean? And we only returned when we had a feeling that moms was looking for us. But it's like this, man. I need to say this about religion. I don't think there's anything. I think that there's something to be learned from all religions. There's something to be learned from all religions. And again, you know, we're talking about teachable moments, man. We're talking about being students, man. But we have to have the capacity or the understanding to know when a lesson is being taught so that we can embrace that lesson, so that we can take something from it, you know, impart something from it, so that when we run across other individuals, we can share that lesson, man. We can, you know what I mean? Spill it over, man. Let them get their feet wet. Let them get to the point where they want to, you know, subtract from it or add to it or just embrace it. You know what I'm saying? I have nothing against, you know, it per se. It's just not for me. You know, I haven't been religious in a long, long time. Most dudes know when I stopped eating pork, I stopped tripping on religion. And that was in 1986, man. All right. Um, but religion has its place, I think. You know, I don't think Bible is a bad format for instruction. I just think that we get so caught up in trying to interpret what's being said in it that we yield bad results. What they say, man, get lost in the fog, man. You know what I mean? We tend to just get caught up in a lot of stuff. But one thing I do know about the black man, we're first. We're first in everything, you know what I'm saying, including understanding, you know what I'm saying, the gods, you know, the heavens and earths and all that shit. So I'm with that, you know, like I say, to the point where it's instructing me about, you know, who I am, where I come from. So I don't knock that. No, religion ain't gonna be for everybody, man. But again, I think we should all delve into it just to get an understanding. Just we might learn something from it. So that's why I don't turn a blind eye to it. I still, in fact, I don't know if you agree with this, Israel 52, but I listen to Geno Jennings. You know, dude, crazy. He with the business though. His thing is strictly about scripture. He ain't in his opinions. He ain't in his feelings. It's strictly about scripture. So, you know, I listen to him a lot, man. Actually, weekly, I listen to this dude, man. Again, though, I'm not religious, but it's the lessons. It's what he's saying that I can, you know, I extract, you know what I'm saying, positive shit, real shit from what he's saying, and I apply it to myself as best I can, you know? Um, yeah, man, it is what it is, man. GRLA, big homie, the culture needs a shift. That's what I'm saying, bro. We are in a state of arrested development. A new paradigm need to be brought to the forefront. There has to be a major paradigm shift, be it financially, be it socially, be it politically, you know what I'm saying? And all those ideologies, man, you know, we have to find another way, you know what I'm saying, to navigate through this wilderness, man. Otherwise, man, we're going to look up 5 years from now and be like, oh shit, what really happened? We thought it was bad in 2025, 2024, 25. This shit is just now, man. Hey, so I agree. I agree. The culture needs a shift. We need the shift should be, in my opinion, is to take ownership of our culture. To 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 take ownership of our culture, man. That's it. That's all. And you do that by you own your shit by, you know, claiming it. You have to claim it, man. If you ain't claiming it, somebody else will. Trust me. The culture has been usurped by people that's not even from the culture, you know, and they reap the rewards of it. They reap the rewards of the culture, man. And then we're talking about not just the financial aspect of it, but the narrative that could be laid before it. They create the narrative and shit. But we created it. I think that's the problem, man. So yeah, the culture needs a shift, a major paradigm shift, man. And I think the start is to, you know, if you look at well, the start is to lay claim to our culture. It's ours. If you look at and I think this is significant. Kendrick Lamar, I think he's on that path. You know what I mean? I think he's starting to reclaim the culture. You know what I mean? It's his to claim, you know, not just his claim, but he's a part of it. And he's laying stake as part ownership of it. You got to tip your hat to him for that, man. We need others like him. You know what I mean? Because I think that is the main source of our information. You know, that will help us or propel us to the point where we can get control of our shit, man. That guy is in full. He's in motion. He's in motion, and his involvement in the culture is much needed, man. Much needed. Okay, what we got here? So at the bottom, okay, we're at the bottom because we are into idolatry and don't know it. That's true too, Israel. That's true too. We're looking at the image. All we're looking at is our image. We're not actually doing nothing other than trying to, portray image to society. When again, we don't have shit, man. We don't have shit, man. We don't have any businesses. Most of us don't own our properties. We don't have schools. We don't have nothing. But all we do have is that image. You know, People off the rip when they see people say, "Oh, he part of the culture," because it's the image. It's what he wears. You know what I'm saying, and how he carries himself. Uh, that could be changed, but that's gonna take a lot of work, man. That's gonna take a lot of work because it's a lot of play that keep people stuck, tripping on that image. That idolatry. You know what I mean? It's a lot at play, man. So, we could talk about it, but what's the solution? How do we begin to attack, taking back what's ours? And not only that, but correcting how the image should be portrayed, how it should be lived by those individuals that's part of it and in it. I don't know. Okay, this is a new one. This is a first, and I appreciate. I'm gonna say something about this one. Okay, hold tight. Okay, this brother right here. This brother's John Atkinson. He said, "Bub, I'm watching this in Northeast England. Come on, man, far reaching, man. Under the Grove, far reaching. All right, and I'm a day one on your channel. I love the history you give. Keep grooving, bub. Appreciate that, John. Appreciate that, man. And then you know what? I'd appreciate it even more, man. Your buddies, man, you sit down with me, have them come over, sit at the house, man, when we're doing the live. Have them check out, man, some of the episodes, man. You brothers over that way, man, y'all part of you're part of the diaspora, man. We all dealing or confronted or is confronted with the same issues. The culture over there, brothers might want to make a difference, say, oh, it's different than the culture is the culture. The culture is the culture. So if it's over there, if it's over here, it's over there. You brothers are in it, man. You know, we have to get hold of our culture. We have to start laying claim to what's ours, what's ours. Otherwise, like I said, man, those people are going to continue to eat off us, eat the flesh from our bones, man. And none of us will be able to have, one, anything to say about it. Two, we won't benefit or reap the benefits from it. Three, our legacy, man, is going to be, way less than theirs as a result of our culture. So, hey, John, man, I appreciate you coming in. That's a good look, man. Anyway, you're in the East England, man. You got anybody else, man, out there? Wait, who you talk to, maybe? What your boys, man, talk about in terms of the culture here in the United States, not just LA, but the United States in general, man. I like to know that, man. Come into the comments again. Let me know what what your say is, what your take is on that about the culture and how you guys see it. All right. Neil, changing our moral codes and ethics and manifesting material growth and development. That's it, man. Yeah, that's the spiel, not the spiel. That's what need to be said. But again, man, how do we implement these things to individuals who we are acknowledging or in a culture or in a state of mind where, man, it's hard, man. It's going to be hard, man, to get cats to digest that, get cats to eat it, digest it, and shit it out, man. How do we do that? How do we do that? How do we put this before brothers? Because our work is, man, we got a lot of work to do. We have individuals, man, sitting in back rooms, man, determining how the culture should go. And as a result, how many people will fall victim to the culture? You know what I mean? How do we go about doing this? How do we bring this into full effect, man? So your question is dope, man. Again, I didn't mean to jump off from you, John, but we appreciate you, man. Let them brothers know in England, man, it's on and cracking, man. And we hoping you guys come on, man. More you come on board, man. Let's spread it, man. Let's get to Ireland, shit. Let's get to Ireland, man. Let's make it go even further than that. All right, right now. Yeah. So El Chevy said, "There's too many fellas out here for us not to come out and shine together for real." For real. Cold part about it is I think most of us, even if we active, even if some of us are active, man, there's this knowledge, man. There's this thing internally that I know speaks to them, man. there's this thing I know that's internal, man. It speaks to him, man. That means we all we got. We all we got, man. You know, again, man, the streets that we claiming, the streets that we kill for and die for, it ain't gave nobody nothing. Nobody I know. You know, there are a few individuals who know how to transition or manipulate these circumstances into something profitable. But hey, man, for the most part, 99% of us who are out here every day, and this goes especially for the young ones, man, you know, middle age and the old ones, ain't man got nothing, don't have nothing, man. So I think it's incumbent on us, man, to get to the point to where we start seeing each other and we acknowledge that we see ourselves. I think that's the first step. That should be the first step, man. Recognize that's your brother from a different mother, man. You see yourself. You have to understand that. So that would be a good look. That would be a good look. We get to that point, then we can start discussing about, you know, material growth. We can have these, you know, discussions about how to unarrest our mental capacity. Because, like I say, we are mentally, we are our development is arrested. Period. Point blank. We got to get past that. All right, Bub, what's good? I swam from Manchester Park as a kid. Grandmother stayed on 87 Denver next to Big E with May Trey. Father Mr. Ford. All right, what's happening, baby E? See, you like a whole lot of cats, though, man. Manchester Park, man, for the kids was a hub. That was our hub. You know, the G's had streets, but the parks is where we went to kick it. Swimming, man. You know, the big old giant robot man back in the day. You know, the rings and shit. You know, the baseball field, the gym. That was our hub as kids, man. You know, we cherished that spot, man. She already said we got to put the medicine in the candy, though. I don't know. I don't know if that's some troll shit or not, but explain that, GRLLA. We got to put the medicine in the candy. Okay, wait a minute. I think I get it. I get it. That's almost like red pill, blue pill. You know what I mean? So yeah. I feel you, homie. All right, yeah. My brother mingle with weirdos. Benny Ray. Stop playing, groove. Yeah, real spit, man. Benny Ray. Sosa, Rampage. Yeah, that was baby bro, man. Like I said, Miss. He's just like a whole lot of other brothers who not here, man. You know, their demise, man, was early, man, and it should never happen, man. This is the part we were talking about in terms of brothers coming together, recognizing, man, that when you see a brother, man, standing across from you, you normally, you should see yourself. You should see yourself, man. And should no harm come to that brother, man. You should want to make sure that that brother make it home safely as well as yourself. You know, it's concerted effort, man. Making sure that you know things go the way they go, man. Stuart Snow. Do I know any reputable Hoovers from LA that came to Tulsa, Oklahoma? No, I can't say that I have, bro. You know, I can't say that I have, but you know, I wanted to send a shout out to Tulsa, man, and I wanted, you know, we got a couple of lines on a couple of brothers, man. Some good brothers down there, man, who talk and think, you know, like minded. You know what I mean? I want to tap in. I want to be able to tap in with them. So if that's possible, man, you know, those who you know who should be qualified, man, to reach out to me and let them brothers know to reach out, man, because I would like to sit down with a couple of them brothers. You know, bring Tulsa into it because that's one of the. I think Tulsa and Washington State, as well as Texas, is one of the oldest sets, you know, in other states that had Hoovers in them from back in the day. So I want to like, you know, get to the point where I had that conversation with them brothers and speak to, you know, how they grew up and what it was like for them growing up, man. Okay, if we as a people take responsibility as people, we can produce moral characteristics from people to be commendable. Well, like I said, that's true, but we have to have a formula. You know, we could talk about it all day, but what will we put before the people, especially those who need it, that can help them, man, change course. And I'm telling you, that's the struggle. Getting brothers to change course, sisters too, change course. Yeah. Josh, I hear you, man. We all miss you, man. Good dude. We are the original people. Mr. Fantastic, man. Truth spoken. That's truth to power. Jonathan, what's up, bro? Jonathan Jones, what's up, bro? Ain't seen you in a minute. How you doing? Come on, man. Hey, bring me a comment. Let me answer a question, bro. Something for the people. We black people must take over our economic. So this is from Neil Bubb. We as black people must take over our economic systems in our community, stores, and etc. Again, man, that for a lot of reasons that's easier said than done. In order for that to even happen, homie, brothers got to be on some more shit, homie. You know, got to be on some more shit, man. In fact, it got to come before the set. You know, just real spit, man. To make them type of moves, man, to make them type of transitions. Like I said, man, we need a paradigm shift. In order for that paradigm shift to actually work or make it, you know, possible for us to change the direction of our people, we got to put some other shit on the back burner, man. And we got to start putting on the front burner that shit that matters that's going to get us to that point you just spoke about. Other than that, homie, we just, come on, homie, we wasting time and energy. And the church didn't put foot down in these streets. Well, yeah. So Hoover Snipes said 5'9". What's that in homie? Matter of fact, what's that in level one? The church didn't put their foot down in these streets. The police murdering MFs and them saying nothing. Well, not just that, not just the police, but again, I guess you're speaking to even those of us who were in the streets doing the shit we were doing. The church, yeah, they you know, they cowered. You know, the church cowered. And that used to be, for us growing up, I recall the church being damn in the household, you know, minister come to your house and eat dinner, man, on a weekday, not just Sunday, man. You know what I'm saying? If it was something going on in the community, man, they would come, you know, with the deacons, man, and the mothers of the church and center, whatever the issue was. Somebody could have been sick, somebody could have been in trouble, whatever the case would be. They made it a point, man, to be involved. I think around the 80s, man, 83, 84, all that changed with the drug game, you know, because, you know, we know with drugs came the guns and the violence escalated. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think them people were willing to get their lives for that, man, you know, because dudes weren't respecting the church at that point, you know. So I kind of understand why it did or why it failed of their authority. You know what I'm saying? That they're being able to speak to the masses of the people who fell to the race side. They didn't want that burden, bro. That's what I think. Somebody, Frederick. Hey, man, check it out, man. Real spit. Meskin is my brother. Meskin is my brother. We just have different fathers. I'm a year older than Meskin, you know. He think he big bro, man. Uh, but Meskin is my brother, man. No lie, man. No lie, no lie. You know, you got to look at it a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I got, you know, certain profiles. You know what I'm saying? You might catch it, man. You might catch it. But yeah, same mom, man. You know what I mean? Um, that dude, man. Yeah, like I say, he think he big bro now, and that's okay. I'll let him do that. I ain't tripping. You know what I'm saying? But that is bro, man. Oh shit. Mexican, your brother. You know how often we've heard that. Like, Mexican ain't your brother. I think we done had fights over that. Like, shit, man, it is my brother, man. What you talking about? Yeah. Well, was Anthony Foster dead? Yeah, bro. Or Hoover Snipe. Yeah, Anthony Foster's, yeah, he's deceased, bro. Rest in peace. You know, Hoover in peace, man. Yeah, Ice, man. I don't Ice, yeah, Anthony was Ice 7-4, man. Yeah, he rest in peace, bro. You know, matter of fact, I just saw Duro, his brother, his younger brother, man, the other day. We chopped it up and shit. You know, we do that all the time. Anytime I see Duro, we chop it up. Like I say, we elementary together, third grade. You know, we go way back. I mean, way back, man. Me and this dude used to fight on the schoolyard just because, you know, two black motherfuckers just tripping. Pretty much where we at today with our brother. Brothers tripping. All right, Neil, Bud, me and you studied Diop. Okay, so Neil saying, Bud, me and you studied Diop, Chancellor Williams, Dr. Ben. Being that our eyes have been open to African spirituality, we come from the African spirituality we come to from before the Abrahamic faith. All right, yeah, man. We were talking last week about these books, man, this literature, man. I just got some new books too the other day, man. The books we name people, y'all, I think, you know, You do, instead of buying that $40 bag, them 7 grams, man, go buy a book, man. Go buy a book, man. Then buy the weed, man. Smoke weed, read the book. You're gonna trip out. Try that. But those books, man, some good books. Chancellor Williams' Destruction of a Black Civilization. D-Up, I just got D-Up. Can you hand me that book? I read D-Up before. Francis Quest Welshing, Stolen Legacy. I'm on ISIS paper, excuse me. The African Origins of Civilization, Myth or Reality. That's by D-Up. And it's a pretty nice sized book, man. Eye opener. But these books that we're naming, these are like historical texts. If you want to be like more on a political tip, man, you might want to check out Frantz Fanon. You might want Woodson. You might want to read George Jackson, Bobby Seale. You know what I'm saying? These type of brothers, man, because that's on another level, you know what I mean? But they speak to, the historical. So, a lot of them have in their literature historical references and stuff like that. So, I think if you're going to start, you might want to start from a historical context, then move on to the political aspect of it. You know what I'm saying? Give you some bearings, some footing, to understand why we're in the position we're in. Again, I spoke earlier about a lot of individuals in the community when they see brothers, just trying to survive, they want to do better than survive and exist. They get these attitudes, they want to be like, they want to exhibit jealousy and envy and shit. That's, they got, that trait, man, that come from other people, man, and it's been going on for hundreds of years. So, they've been running shit for hundreds of years. So I think ordinarily, which it shouldn't be, this is what, we picked up from them. Jealousy amongst each other, you know what I'm saying? Because something he got, I don't have, whatever. But hey, man, get them books to go, man. Try that, man, from historical context first, then move on to the political, aspect of it. And you brothers, I'm telling you, you get some footing, man. You get to understand why a lot of shit is the way it is, or why, we have in our communities, mental arrested development and shit like that. Why we have Black on Black crime, hate, you know what I'm saying? There are other factors, but I think that's the key thing, our history, man, and the politics of our history. It help, give you guys some understanding. All right, Israel, I ain't gonna argue with you on that, Israel. You know what I mean? I understand we're the original people, bro. I'm not finna get in that, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm gonna give your candles on that one, bro. I'm gonna leave that alone. By the way, he said the Most High is our only protection. We are the real Israelites by bloodline. The Old Testament is our history. I'm not going to disagree with you. I've read the Old Testament a couple of times. I would not disagree with you on that, bro. I was basically stating that they found a way, man, to twist, the scriptures. You know what I mean? They found a way to twist the scriptures. And not only did they twist the scripture, they twisted in such a way to where religion is not what, religion is something you shouldn't even mess with anyway, but they've melted the two together, man. And religion now it's not even scripture no more. It's not even scripture no more, man. So I don't disagree with you about the Old Testament. I don't disagree with you about scripture. Like I say, there's a lot of learning in scripture. You know what I mean? I was just saying I'm not religious just based on what I know took place in terms of how scripture got twisted and how, as a people, we worship this white tea people, individual as, Lord and Savior. I mean, with the, none of that. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna start reading, studying the Torah also. I read the Torah. Big Hub 115, salute to the groove. Big Hub 115, salute to the groove. I once lived on 103rd Vermont Ballon. Whatever happened to Bumpsy and the twins? Yeah, man. One of the twins still there, man. One of the twins is still with us, man. Bumpsy, I don't know who Bumpsy is, man. But one of the twins is still around, man. Doing good, man. Good dude too. Handling his business. Yeah. Right now, man. Africa not named after no Italian. It was named after Africa. That's Frederick again. Yeah, one of the things I learned about Africa, that's not the true name, man, of the continent. Um, um, Akubulan. That's the name. That was one of the first names for Africa, named by Africa by Akubulanians, so to speak. It wasn't Africa, but yeah, the Italians did a number, the Spaniards did a number, the French did a number. Everybody went again. We're talking about this thing, man, where people saw what was going on. It was envious and jealous of this process that these people, this system, these people had, and they wanted it. You know, they took it, and they changed the face and the name of it, man, make it their own. So we got to get to the point where we taking back, what I'm saying, not just like, again, not just our history, man, but what I'm saying, our politics, our state of mind. Yeah, Israel is indeed in Africa. I noticed Neil and Israel going back and forth, which is cool. That's what's up, homie. Had that dialogue. Had that dialogue. Okay, hey, but Big Hub 115. Hey, that's some real shit. I was just talking to a brother yesterday. He was this brother's 67 years old. And we were talking about the old stores back in the day. Ralph's used to be right there on Vermont and 73rd or Vermont and Florence, right? But on the other end of 73rd and Florence was an old meat market, and then became, I think, a Muslim market. But I'm saying that to say we used to have stores in the community that were owned by Black people, just, I mean, up and down, mom and pops type stores and businesses, meat markets and shit like that. I recall that shit, man, vividly. Yeah, we're at a stage now, man, where, yeah, those who immigrated here, man, mostly everything is ran by them or they're employed by those who got all the power. That's a given, man. We see this daily, bro. I think now in the community, man. Again, I don't care what community you're in, man. It's gonna be a struggle just to get a foothold back, especially in terms of commerce, especially in terms of businesses, man, because it's been set up to where now, you know, we're being shut out, man. We're being shut out, man. Not just from owning businesses, but from jobs, education. It's society. They want to move us out. You know what I mean? It's all kind of shit going on. But your point is taken. I get it, man. Again, it's just not that. It's just not the commerce. You know what I mean? It's just society in general. Those who run it. Those who plan. City structures and whatever that case may be. If you look around most communities, you see how homes that have been there for 50, 60 years passed down, through the generations to offspring and shit are being, sold, foreclosed on, bought, and torn down to be replaced with apartments and shit. These are developers, man. These aren't Mexicans, man. These aren't Mexicans, man, doing it. And I don't mean that, disrespectfully. I'm telling you, man, this is gentrification in full effect. So when you see these buildings, and hey, man, park your car, man. It's lawful to park your car and just sit there and see how many people, you see walking dogs. We used to walk dogs. Our dogs, you didn't have no leash. Dogs. We say stop, dog, stop. You know what I'm saying? We walk dog around the corner, whatever. But when you see people now walking dogs, they aren't us. You know. They aren't us. And again, man, a lot of this is taking place for a reason, man. City planners, have decided again. This is it's all by design, homie. It's all by design. You know. All right, the language, okay. Okay, so he is asking, when you were a young homie, what could have been said? I'm sure you're saying what could have been said or done to make you change your mind. Good question. So when we were young, and I've said this in earlier episodes, like a year ago. So when we were coming up, the old dudes, they wouldn't let us hang out. I bullshit you not. They didn't want us in nothing. They didn't tell us shit. Hey man, go to school. That type of thing. As we got older though, these dudes start disappearing, for lack of a better term. What we could come to learn was there were major sweeps going on. They were coming, grabbing influential dudes and sending them to prison. You know, actual crimes or made up crimes, you know what I mean? But I think the purpose was to get those individuals who were influential, who could have been able to change my mindset off the streets so that couldn't happen. You know what I mean? Um, they could have told me, hey man, check this out. And I've had homies tell me, go to school, man. Go to school. Don't trip this, go to school, you know. Those same homies a year later, they were gone, you know, so I wasn't able to get that every time I saw them, you know what I mean? And that was replaced by, a lot of other circumstances or individuals, putting before me other negative shit, you know. My mind could have been changed, we were looking for leadership. We were looking for guidance. We were looking for structure. And that was taken from us, homie. So to say, what could have been, I could tell you what could have changed my mind. Just having them individuals there, always been positive about my growth, that could have changed my mindset, homie. But lo and behold, that wasn't, that didn't come to pass. That was not the case because, like I said, the system played a role in removing certain individuals from not just Hoover's community, but just, the black community altogether, man. That's a fact. And they look, man, they didn't just start it with big homies. They started with welfare and black mothers telling fathers or telling black mothers in order to get this welfare check, he can't be in there where his children are, helping to rear and raise them, So the only way for her to get that check, you know, was not have him in the house, remove him, So now this child is left, in most cases, you know, to his own devices, not saying moms wouldn't rear him right, raise him right, but now, he's in the street looking for a father figure, you know. That's how this shit work, man. There's a lot to this shit, man. But yeah, what could have changed my mindset was just constant structure. You know what I mean? Lacing in schooling, being schooled and laced. I'm sure I'm speaking for myself, but I'm pretty sure a lot of dudes they'll say the same thing, man. Just constant guidance, man, and structure, man. From my understanding, man, anyway, a structure is something, it's going to be with you. Once you get it, you lock into it, it's going to be with you, man. You might fall off from time to time, but the structure that you got, and you know it to be concrete, you know it to be solid, a solid foundation, you're going to stand on that. You're going to stand on that, man, always. Yeah. Okay, medicine is a candy going to work better. Hey, man, I had another one, man. I had another one I want to bring up, man. Bring it back. Oh, well, what were my ties were down south? Let me see. All right. Originally, man, we come from Oklahoma City, man. Our mom moved us out here. I was 3 years old. I was 3 years old, man. We moved on 79th in Hoover was our first house. Then we ended up moving to Madden. I just had a talk with Baby Seedorf from 60s today. And, he caught the episode from last week and he's like, man, you lived on it? Yeah, I lived on Madden, homie. Big Seedorf was my next door neighbor, Danny. I grew up with him and shit. I know his whole family. My ties, though, yeah, I am from, Oklahoma, the South. Our whole family is, Benny Ray, except for Benny Ray. He was born in Los Angeles. All the rest of us were born, in South Oklahoma. But back in the early 90s, I made a pilgrimage, so to speak, back down south, man. I went down to Mississippi. And I'm going to tell you, man, that was one of the most down home places I ever been. I recall going there. I was on a Greyhound bus, man, and then, the bus was going up this interstate. And on both sides of the interstate was nothing but just fields of cotton, as far as I could see, man. I don't know, just something came over me then, But the hospitality, man, was tight, man. Was tight, man. I didn't feel threatened, man, in no way. The people were just, like family. That was my last. That was my last time being down south, and that was in the early 90s. I haven't been back since, man. But I haven't forgotten them, the folks down there, man. Like I say, real hospitable, man. Generous people, man. Real loving people, man. I'll never forget them. I wanted to go ahead, man.
Somebody wants to know if you've seen the Miseducation of Sonny Carson.
Oh man. Okay, yeah, there's a question here. Hold on, let me get to this question. Because this is a good question. How far down is that? There's a question. Have I ever watched the movie This Education of Sonny Carson? The Miseducation of Sonny Carson. One of the first movies I watched as a kid. Mom took us to this movie, man, to see this movie. And yeah, man, me and my wife watched this movie at least twice. You know what I mean? It's a cold flick, man. It was in a different time, but if you just look at it and understand what's going on, you'll see that there's no difference back then as opposed to what we're going through now. Same thing, man. Same thing. But that movie had always touched me. I mentioned last week, not I want to also mention last week I mentioned the book Man Child in the Promised Land. That's what that book remind me of. You know, Man Child in the Promised Land. That was a cold book. But the movie, The Miseducation of Sonny Carson, was a cold flick. It involved gang activity, drug addiction, man, poverty, all that shit, man, that a lot of us are going through now or, you know, grew up in. So yeah, I would recommend the movie, man. Check that movie out, man. Cold flick. Cold flick. What's his name?
Omar Ali.
How far down that is. 1 second, people. I don't like dead air. Okay, now this one. Okay. Omar Ali. And while we're talking about this, I want to ask, you know, the audience, man, do anybody know the name Ibrahim Traore? Anybody know who that is out there? And if so, what you think about his motion? Okay, I see it. Yeah, come in the comments on that, man. Okay, so Omar Ali, OG, with all due respect, do you think guys giving the feds free information about the history of the Hoovers? Wait a minute, let me read that right. OG, with all due respect, do you think you guys giving the feds free information about the history of Hoover's question mark? I imagine you're saying, do you think that's cool? Well, one thing for sure, homie, we don't talk about, you know, when I'm talking to the homies and shit, we're talking about how we grew up from kids to maybe 13, 14. You know what I mean? One thing I make it a point not to do is talk about crimes, criminal activity, and shit of that nature, man. Now, the ditching school was a crime. It's a federal crime, man. Smoking weed is a federal crime. Then they might come get us. But other than that, homie, we not. That ain't what this is about, homie. You know, I've said it in the comments before, homie. Whatever those activities were, that's where they were, homie. They won't be on here. You know what I'm saying? That's not for discussion here. So I'm making a point, you know what I'm saying, to never have that on the platform where they're talking about, you know, shit that can get individuals, you know, caught up or whatnot. Even if they ain't got sense enough to say it, I got sense enough to see it and edit it. You know what I mean? So I'm not worried about, you know, the feds, you know, come to say anything to me. All my shit is right here. It's for you people, man. There's nothing negative in here. There's nothing violent in here. None of that nature. You know what I mean? So I don't too much worry about that, bro. You know. Hmm. Your answer is the key to what's going on, change our future. This is by E. Your answer is the key to what's going on, change our future. But the G homies now have to become better role models. Yeah, man. You know, see, so Omar just said something about, you know, talking about shit and well, basically individuals having a say in certain things. I kind of get it. At this stage, man, they don't need to say anything, you know what I'm saying, in terms of what they can tell cats, man, hey man, get your life together, man. Do something positive with your time on, you know, on earth, whatnot. You know what I'm saying? But as far as, you know, the sex shit and all that, nah, man. You know, that's something that won't be discussed by them or anybody else. I wouldn't tell young cats, hey man, bang harder, you know, bring the set back. And nah, man, we not having that type of discussion, man. But there are G homies who have let's for instance nonprofits, you know what I mean, and they cater to the youth, they cater to the community, you know, and if it's something in there, you know, for the youth to get, you know, then yeah, by all means, man, go and look at those programs, look at, you know, into those nonprofits, see, you know, how they would service individuals that need, you know, whatever they're offering, man. Other than that, man, you know, nah, we're not, you know, we're not even gonna mess with all that, bro. The homies, you know, let G homie, you know, they old now, let them, just leave them alone, you know, leave them alone, you know what I mean. There are other individuals who are in those positions, man, to go to the youth, man, and say, man, come on, I got an event, man, that's, you know, is uplifting, is positive, man, and set you on the right track, whatnot. Let them dudes do that, man. And for the most part, most of them are. So it's being handled, bro. They don't need to, you know, those dudes, those homies with these nonprofits don't really, if they need help from the G's, they know how to go and get them, say, man, I need you to come and speak, you know, this, that, or that, some event. And, you know, this is what they do. So I think that's being handled. That's not something that the G's, man, without nonprofits want to get involved in anyway. You know, just stay out of here, man. You know, might be looking, you dudes, people might be looking at them to get them. I don't know. Okay. So I was waiting on that question, man. I asked about
They said
Ibrahim.
Burkina Faso.
Yeah, Burkina Faso, man. You see how he's changing not just the landscape of Burkina Faso, but it's almost as if he's waking a sleeping giant, man. Now, Africans, for all their differences and shit, you know, land disputes, whatever the case may be, man, old wars, they starting to come together, man. You know, they starting to look at the reality of the situation. And that's all I'm suggesting for us here, man. You know, difference is we don't own any land. You know what I mean? We don't have political, we don't have governments and shit. You know what I mean? You know, but this brother, man, he's changing the landscape and the mindset of individuals over there, man. Everything around him, man, is changing. And these people are scared. They're scared. They've been eating, like I say, the flesh off the bones of Africans, you know, and blacks, man, you know, in the diaspora, man, for hundreds of years, bro. He's making a difference. Yeah, Money Tree Hollis. We have never been able to congregate and build without ridicule and restrictions that they have put on us, that they have put on no other race. Yeah, but again, so read the histories, man, and understand why it is what it is. Here's the thing. This is what I notice about black men and women. Show them something, they're gonna dominate it. They they'll be the best at what whoever who thought they was the GOAT. Expose it to a black man or woman, they're gonna own it, man. They're gonna run it. But also look at the fact that anything we do in the world, like what we're dealing with now, this computer, it's all black people, homie. You know, it's all black people. You know, I think the system is designed to make us feel or think that we're inferior, that we have no contributions to civilization. You know what I mean? That's that's a falsehood, homie. You know what I'm saying? That's not the truth. You guys take videos all day with these phones and shit. All that shit is or black inventions or black ideas, innovations, all of it. You know what I mean? So it's not like, you know, they can only get away with it if we continue to allow them to get away with it. Let's put it like that, man. They can ridicule you, man, but I guarantee you there are a lot of you guys out there and girls out there who have ideas, man. Bring them to fruition. They'll tell you how, no, don't, yeah, that ain't shit, that ain't this, that ain't that. But at the same time, they're trying to get it from you. You know, they'll make you think that it's nothing. You know, that's what they do. But they do it, like I said, man, to keep you in the state of mind of inferiority. You know, they do it like that for a reason, bro. You know, they do it like that for a reason. Our contributions, man, can't be surpassed by no race on the planet, man. You know, aliens bought this shit, man. Ain't created, the cell phone, stoplights, elevators, escalators. Man, the list just goes on and on and on. Heart surgery, open heart surgery, anything, man. You name it. Computers. NASA wouldn't be NASA with our black women, you know? So, don't, yeah, they're going to do that. That's what they do that for a reason, man. They do that, man, to keep us subjected, man, to their shit, subjugated to their shit. First time we start to realize as a unit that, man, can't nobody face us, man. Can't nobody deal with us, man. We're the best of whatever we do, man. Put our minds to it. They'll fall, they'll fall. They'll recognize the power, man. They know what it is already. They just hope to keep you from realizing it. So Cameron Clark asks, can you create a one-page summary of our history as Black people that highlights the minimum of what we should know so we can expand upon, with when curious? Yeah, I could do that. One-page summary, I can do that. I have ready for the next live, which will be Thursday, if I'm correct. Thursday. Yeah. Yeah, that would be something to put out to the people, man. Let's see how many people real with it. All right, chat those that know true history of one. Okay. Thanks, Neil. Appreciate that, bro. And he said chat those that know true history. Put a 1 in the chat. If Egypt is older than Babylon. Yeah, that's a no-brainer, bro. But it's not about war stories. Okay, thanks, Austin, for that, man. What's happening, man? I see you back, man. That's a good look. So Austin, Texas, 21 is saying it's not about war stories like War in Cali and Cali Most Dangerous do. There you go. Let them do that. You know what I mean? I let them do that, bro. If it was up to me, it wouldn't be done, man. But let them do that, man. And dudes better watch what they say when they get down. We end up like a lot of other dudes, man, wishing they'd kept their mouth shut. Big Black, what's happening, man? I see you, homie. Yeah, man. Okay. All right, man. So look, I'm gonna move on, man. There was another issue I had where I spoke about last week, man. I still didn't get that clip of the Hoover Stump line dance because I wanted to post that, man. I wanted to post that. Like I said, man, that looked like a lot of fun, man. And we need, ain't nothing wrong with a little fun, man. Dancing is something we like to do, and that'd be something. It looked like I say, man, the culture, the Hoover Stump, and spread it. You see everybody doing it now. Like Crip Walk. Everybody want to do it now.
PTHB, who was your worst enemy?
Hmm?
Who was our worst enemy, PTHB?
PTH. Oh, he on there?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Who was our worst enemy? Mm-hmm.
Okay. PTHB. What's up, homie? You back? I'm gonna answer that, right? So PTHB asks, who is our worst enemy? I think, man, it's far gone conclusion. We are our worst enemy, homie. We are our worst enemy. That's my opinion, man. Because knowing what we know, haven't gone through all we've been through. Even if some of you haven't went through a lot of what a lot of us have gone through, you have people who have. And if you just sit down long enough to listen to the stories, you get an understanding, man, of who the real enemy is, man. But we've turned the shit, or they turn the shit, or turn the tables to where we doing the shit they used to do to us, to each other. So we can no longer label them the worst enemy, All that's going on, man, I think it's our burden now to correct it. Can't keep pointing our fingers at people, man. You know what I'm saying? Talking about, oh man, they this and they that, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, because man, we're allowing it. We're allowing it. We more, like I said, caught up in hating one another, being envious and jealous of one another, than getting on board with each other, man, figuring out a way, man, to do better. Say the man in the mirror, man. When you look at another brother, you're supposed to be looking at yourself. You're looking at a likeness of yourself, man. But when you see him and you see hate, you see envy and jealous, man, then you see an enemy. We are worst enemy right now, man. Not the Mexicans, not the YT people, not anybody else, man. It's us, And they sit back and look, we ain't got to do shit. You know, I dropped the clip. I think it was maybe 6 months ago, where I don't know if this guy was a Grand Dragon or what, but he was a KKK certified. He said, "Hey man, all we gotta do now is sit back and watch them. We ain't got to kill no blacks. They do all that shit for us. You know, we hate Crips and Bloods more than we hate the KKK. We don't want our own worst enemy, homie. It's us. It's nobody else." Hey, Frederick, man, appreciate it, bro. Yeah. I'm gonna get you that too. Real spit, bro. And I talked to him, man. What? Shit. It was like 10 days ago. I see you, man. I appreciate you, bro. I appreciate you. Much love for that. E, good looking out, bro. Thank you. Likewise. That's second time too, man. That's the second time. Yeah. Who do you credit for the Hoover stump? Whew. Damn. I just had that conversation, man. What homie came out that shit, man. And it's the shit now. I'll have an answer for you on that because oh my God, I don't want to say the wrong name. I will have an answer for you on that, E. Yeah, you're gonna get that answer. It's gonna be facts too, bro. Don't trip. And again, man, thank you, bro. Thank you for that. We appreciate that, bro. It's a good look right there. Neil says Sugar Bear originator of the Hoover stump. All right. Like I say, I'm gonna look into that. I'm not gonna contest that. I'm not gonna, say nay or yay or nay. I'll find out, homie, and we'll put that in there, man. We'll have that, man. We'll have that in there for the people. Ascension is always the key. That's right, Big Black. Growth, man. Rising, bro. Hey, so Austin, dude was a grand wizard. Okay, yeah. Yeah, he said that shit like it wasn't nothing. He said, "Hey, man, we just drop the drugs off, the guns, and sit back and watch them kill each other. We ain't got to do that shit no more." He said, "Shit, we focus on businesses and all this shit, while they going and killing each other. We are our own worst enemy, bro. Can't blame nobody else." Hmm? Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna get him on there though, bro. Hey, Frederick, don't trip. Don't trip, man. And then, that's long overdue, matter of fact. Your question to me. That's long overdue. I'm not gonna mention, I know a lot of people can see what you're asking, but there are a lot of circumstances in play on this end, man. And I have to be real careful about my get down, man, because hey man, what do they call it, man? The fix is in, bro. The fix is in. You know what I mean? Since I learned how to get down and stop running from cats and bullies and shit, I love a good fight, homie. I'm with a good fight. So mark my words, homie. I'm gonna that, yeah. That, yeah. Long overdue, matter of fact. Long overdue. Man. Hey, black man, you know what? Real spit, bro. I miss, I miss just being able to come and just, chop it up, man. In fact, I want to be able, someone suggested last week to have this Zoom conference. Yeah, homie. Yeah, I want to do that, man. I'm trying to put that together now, man. And let's just, I'm going to put that together, man. I'm not going to put the cart before the horse right now and say it'll be, this Thursday or whatnot. But I'm going to give you notification, all you guys notification on that Zoom chat. And I want to have some real tight dudes, man, sit down with us, man, and just discuss, the state of affairs with our people. Like I said again, man, I don't want to talk about what I did to somebody or what somebody did to me, the Hoover Wars. And I'm telling you, man, they ain't going to get nobody nothing, man, but some time. All right. But some time. You ask for trouble. I don't want trouble. Like Tia says, I know trouble. I know trouble, man. I don't want no trouble, homie. I tell homies, I don't want no problems, homie. I don't want no problems, homie, because I know what that shit lead to. Man, I know they lead to, you know. So I'd rather be here than there. We're gonna get that together, man. We're gonna get this thing together, man. So we're gonna have this. I would like to do that shit weekly. We had a Zoom chat, man, weekly, man, for the people to see, man, and be involved in, man. You know, but let's just keep in mind that it's not gonna be, like those channels, man, where they getting 50, 20,000, in 2 days and 50. We're not doing that, bro. They getting that because they keep pushing that BS. I mean, I'm not gonna push that. I'm not gonna be a part of that. I love you guys, man, and I appreciate you guys tapping in. And I know there's a lot of Laker fans out there. This last week when I did the last one, hey man, I'm sorry to hear it, bro. I'm sorry to hear it went down like that, man. But like I was saying before the game started, LeBron need to let them young cats have the floor now, man. Time to move on. Time to move on. They need, because that shit did not look good. That did not look good. Hey, Keith Close, what's happening, homie? What's happening, homie? I enjoyed our conversation the other night, man. I enjoyed our conversation, right? I can't wait, man, till we sit down, chop it up, man, go have a meal, man. You know what I'm saying? And let's get to the meat and bones of this get down, man. All right. You take care of yourself, your family, and wife, man. And them youngsters, man, you look out for daily, man. I know they appreciate it. I know they appreciate it. Hey, King, I see you, man. I see you, young King. All right, people, look, peace to the gods, man, as young King would say. Peace to the gods, man. And that's to each of you, man. Each and every one of you, man, the gods, man. Few shots out right quick. Wait a minute, let me hit y'all with this, man. I want to say this, man. And I think this is some real shit, man. And you guys got to take this, you know, with a grain of salt and take it to heart, man. You figure out the interpretation, how it fits you, man. But listen, it goes like this. Elders do not imitate. Elders are imitated. So there's been a lot of imitation. A lot of, what we see going on, a lot of that we tend to think is cool. It's okay. Dissect that, man. Dissect that. It might be time for some new elders, man, to put before the people, man, certain ways of living, certain structure, foundations, man, addresses, that might be the case. That might be the case, man. If an elder isn't leading by example, hey man, you make the call. I've made mine. I don't deal with cats, man. I don't care. Look, man, yeah, you make the call. All right. I want to send shots out, man, like I normally do, man. Again, I hollered at baby Seed off from Rolling 60s, man. What's happening, homie? I appreciate the call in. You folks, man. We talk, what I'm saying, from time to time. Big Sea Dog, man, like I say, man, we grew up together, man. I know his whole family, man. I hope he's well, man. Focus, man. Focus. Love yourself, Big Sea Dog. Love yourself, homie. Come on home. Come on home. My boy Angel, Five Deuce Broadway, man. What phone call, homie? That's the elder of mine I listen to. I've imitated him because it was some righteous shit. Looney, Big Looney, Rolling 60s, another one. Imitated him. Laced me, man. Gave me game. Solid dude, I got homies, man, up and down Hoover, man. They know who they are. They know who they are. I ain't got to mention them, man. Got a lot of stuff from you brothers, man. I appreciate it, man. It should be exemplified in my get down now. I know a lot of cats don't agree, but that's fine. I know that you guys that are real, that lace me, you all right. You're all right with my get down, homie. So I appreciate that. And I'm gonna stay the course, man. 10 toes down. Milk, 7-4. All right, homie. I saw you in the comments, man. That's a good look last week, man. Come more often. Come more often, bro. You know what I mean? Come hang out, man. Coach Zoe, Crazo from Raymond. What's happening, homie? Keep doing your thing, man. That's some real solid shit. And OG Bam from the OG perspective. Much love, man. T-Rail and Smack back on Fig, man. Keep doing what y'all doing, man. Look, and there are other podcasts, man, that push narratives that are positive, man, or that dispense positivity, man, and forward motion or growth that laces to people, man. So a shout out go to those podcasts. If I didn't name you, man, ain't no love lost, man. We recognize you, man. I ain't the only one. You dudes keep doing what you're doing, man. People need it. People need the inspiration, man. They need the direction and the structure, you know. Look, man, I want to say this to our people, man, in other states, man. You have a story to tell, man, about how you grew up as children, man. I don't want to know. Again, I'll reiterate this for the sake, man, posterity. I want it to always be said, I'm not pushing no violence. I'm not with the violent shit. I don't want to know about the gang warfares. But if you got a story to tell how you came up as kids, you remember that shit. You remember, just, man, every bit of it. The good times, sometimes as well as the bad, man. I'm extending the invitation, man. My boy, man, K, you know what's happening, homie. I'm waiting on you. I'll see you soon. You know what I'm saying? Other brothers like, come on down, man. Let's sit down and chop it up, man. Let's sit down, man, so brothers can hear, man, the mindsets of brothers from other areas, man. In terms of positivity, Hoover dudes. Hoover dudes. Come on down, man. If you guys, man, are hard up to jump on the podcast, man, with other cats and you talking nonsense, whatnot, man, yeah, okay, keep doing that. But if you got a story to tell, just how you grew up in the community, man, you want to come on under the groove, you are more than welcome. You're more than welcome. That's what this podcast is it for. It exists for the people in the community, and outside the community. Y'all have seen them here before. You know what I mean? So it's all love, man. Those shouts out, man. I mean those shouts out, man. You brothers take care of yourself, take care of each other, man. Love yourself so that you can love the brother next to you. All right. So look, don't neglect, man, to like, share, comment, and most definitely subscribe to Under the Groove, the Hoover Story podcast, man. With that, man, it's power in the people, not power to the people. It's power in the people. You have been, you are, and you will be under the groove, man. Peace.
That's a good one too.
Yeah.
Very good.
Thank you.